Michael, everyone was waiting for a response. How disappointing was what you delivered in that first quarter tonight?
Yes, it was a bad performance. Certainly the start of the game when you want to get ascendancy, especially away from home. We've been good at that for, pretty much the whole year, getting our starts right, but no, we got that wrong. Just didn't come with an appetite to the contest, and they were able to sort of go from inside out really quickly, and they were able to control the ball more than they should, and we weren't quick enough in our response. And then, being untidy with the ball out of their back half gave even more opportunities back to them. So, but bad kicking's bad footy, and we certainly had opportunities in front of goal, and sometimes we hit the scoreboard, and sometimes we kicked it out in the full, and we should have been better than that.
There's a lot of noise around the club this week. Do you feel like the players were overawed by the occasion, and did you overthink what you had to do, given what we saw in that first half particularly?
I think it was pretty simple. Having the shorter break means that you're not chasing too much. It's about probably more resetting and then the response. How do you do that? But we just didn't look like we had the energy for the start of the game. We're both, I think, off 5-day breaks, so we had no advantage there. Certainly Port had no advantage there, I should say. So we should have come out better, and they bounced out of the blocks a lot harder, and their pressure was a lot better than what we were, and all the things that we want to be able to value in our game, and we just didn't bring it at the start. And away venues and trying to chase the opposition down, we just couldn't do it. So made some corrections, but chasing the scoreboard, and that makes it really, really hard.
So was it a mental thing? Why do you think it was a mental?
Look, you'd have to be able to look at the start of the game and sort of go back and say, well, how prepared were we to prepare the style of football that we wanted to play? How hard do we want to go at that? The reality is the answer is we weren't. So that put us in a really negative position. So, look, other than going back, having a look at it, it's hard to get any sort of real conversation out of the players after a game. They're hurting. So we're really disappointed with the performance. So we briefed it quickly. We obviously get the opportunity with a slightly longer break now to probably spend a bit more time on it. And not only, what's it going to look like for us moving forward? So that's going to be an important discussion.
Do you feel like enough were willing to dig in and actually, like when Port got ascendancy, actually dig in and be up for the fight?
Yeah, that'd be fair assessment. Yeah, that'd be fair assessment.
So it doesn't get easy, Michael, but how do I guess the coaching group, how do you assess your methods? And you said the appetite for the contest wasn't there. Where's the balance lie in coaches getting the players ready and the players getting themselves ready?
Oh, it's collective accountability. Yeah, no, there's no separating groups here. It's 100% on what we need to be able to bring to it. We look at always ourselves first. And then you obviously impart some of the things that we need to be able to put in front of the players and ask them to be able to play at a standard as well. So no, this is a collective accountability. So we'll look at it thoroughly and see where we need to correct. And obviously we've only got a week to do that before we get into our next game.
Second quarter, you came from the box down to the bench and you spent 4 or 5 minutes just on the magnet board. Can you take us through your mindset and what's going through your mind at that point?
Oh, more just changing matchups and just sort of seeing whether we could instigate something really. And we got a response, but again, bad kicks, bad football. We just didn't finish our plays, and so when you want to get that encouragement, we had to find that encouragement through different ways. The celebration, the little things, that's really important through those moments. The guys stayed generally engaged. Look at the big play late where Akers come off the wing and never gave up. I mean, all those little things matter when you're trying to build these behaviours that are ultimately got to be winning behaviours for us. But we've got to do it more consistently. The year has shown us that we don't do it consistently enough. So trying to decipher what works and what doesn't work, look at that thoroughly, and then we've obviously got to make some adjustments and adapt where we need to.
Can you turn it around?
I don't think it's more about turning it around, and now it starts to become about what we value. And what you do find out a lot about is your character of your football team, football club, right now. And what connections needed to be able to ensure that we do get that turnaround that you're talking about. So, there is a way we need to be as a football club, and we're not that yet. There's been a lot of foundations laid on that, but clearly that hasn't fully turned to the standard that we want, nor the results that we want. So we'll keep working our way through that, keep providing the vision that we need, keep providing the alignment we're after, keep a look at things that we need to be able to adjust. So that won't change in the next 8 weeks. We'll continue to do that.
Does a result like that, the way you played, especially in the first half, does that kind of sow any doubt in your mind about on the game plan? I think we spoke about that press on yesterday about the message getting through, I guess, how you're placed as well with everything.
No, that wasn't. No, that was unlike us today. What showed up early, that was unlike us today. If you talked about different periods of the game, I agree with you. But no, it was very unlike us the way we turned up. I think our players do a fantastic job at being able to prepare themselves, work out what's needed. But what we've struggled to do is do that for a long period of time, and that's what we've got to keep searching for. Is that part of the method we play? Is that the type of personnel or capacity we have as a group? We have to look at all those factors because it's 120 minutes the game's played for, and we haven't been able to do that consistently enough this year.
With the result last week and what you were seeking from the players today, and you get what you get, does that have you questioning whether you're the right man for the job in the future of the Carlton Footy Club?
No, well, I think when you look at a body of work, and it's going to be hard to probably understand this, but when you look at sort of the results and the shift we've had in our game style this year, there's been a genuine shift in our numbers and in a really good way. We're 14th for forward centres last year. We're in our third. We're 3 for inside 50s in the competition. We move the ball end to end. One of the best teams in the competition. I could rattle off a lot of clearance wise where we don't get scored against the stoppage. Yet all those things today, we weren't able to stop. They scored from stoppages. We gave away marks. We couldn't build the contest and the pressure around the ball. So we had to find other ways to be able to try and score. But that doesn't leave me in any doubt whatsoever about what we're trying to create here.
But you've lost. There's been different ways you've lost games this year, and you're coaching a side that's built for the now. The cap's been spent, years of building for this moment, and the side continues to find ways to lose and fall away in moments. How disappointing is that? And do you have, questions as to the way forward from here, given what you?
No, there's probably a longer analysis of this. It's not probably right now, and I guess that's what we're sort of busy doing in the background. What we've got to continue to do is try and create the space for that to be able to happen. So is that in conversations? Is that the way we look at the way we play? That's what we will do behind the scenes. But that needs a more in-depth discussion. We have that weekly review. That won't change. Our consistency, the way we want to be able to play and how we review the game and what happened, that won't change. You've got to walk into our environment and you've got to be able to see the same behaviours every single week. So whether you win, whether you lose, that's what winning is all about. You turn up on Monday, you try and find ways to be able to get better. You look at what worked and didn't work. Right, and this one, we didn't have the effort at the start. So the system breaks. So if you ask me what part of the system broke, well, effort is the main thing you need to bring at the start of any game and through its entirety of the way it's played for any system to work. And we didn't have that today. So unfortunately, then the system breaks.
Was Jacob too hampered by his ankle injury?
Sorry, who's that?
Jacob Wiedering, was he just too hampered by his ankle injury in the end?
No, he was quite good from what I can tell. I mean, I haven't had a conversation with him, so I'll have that conversation with him, but see him in the rooms directly afterwards. He got out of the game okay. Yeah.
Was Charlie a bit down on confidence? Sorry.
I thought Charlie competed really hard today. And, he has had some form struggles, and I understand that he's probably copped some attention because of it, but I tell you what, that bloke absolutely tried his backside off today. I don't think we gave him too many favours, but at the same time, that comes back to the collective stuff. But no, I'm not walking away from that game and saying that Charlie didn't compete. He competed as hard as he possibly could.
What's your message to Carlton fans sitting on their couch tonight who just watched that performance and you can see that the effort wasn't there when you have the lead-in that you've had, all the noise around the club? What is your message to them to ensure that they don't fall away?
No, we're disappointed. We're absolutely disappointed. But the way through this is not to be sitting. I said this last week. It's not to isolate. It's coming together. If there's one thing I know about working through really tough times, it's how we connect. And what we won't do, you will not see us do, is pass blame on anyone. So what we'll do is sit here and we'll say, what's my role in this? We'll get to work hard on that. But we need everyone on board with this. And so that's the way we'll approach it. We'll approach that, as a group of coaches, as a group of players, the amazing support staff. What I feel right now as a leader is I feel really disappointed for our people. We feel like we're creating a great environment, but we're not getting the results we're after. So we're enormously disappointed. We're not where we want to be. But it's time to come together, not isolate.
How's that absorbed?
Well, he went into concussion protocol, so I only saw him at half time. So, obviously he wasn't good enough to go out in the ground. So, we'll have a little bit of a look at that later.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.